In this video, we would like to explore together the role of a teacher, whether it is a Qigong teacher, meditation teacher, philosophy teacher, religious teacher, for whatever reason we choose to go in that direction. And in particular, I will try to explore together, according also to my experience, and what I think it can be relevant for you, how to approach it, or to approach her, how to verify actually that we're going in the right direction, we have chosen the right teacher or the right person to work with, and our attitude towards the teacher, which I think is the most important thing, the fundamental thing. In fact, I want to start by addressing this element first, because the teacher, to a certain extent, it's not that relevant. Of course, many people already will argue across this video and say, what are you talking about? Sometimes, okay, let's think that we're doing this kind of work, whether it is Qigong, spirituality, because we want to evolve and we want to transcend ourselves. And I will try to go somewhere else for a second, so just follow me. In all the path we hear about the need of transcending the ego and overcoming our conditionings, the identification with the body-mind, all the rest of it. We already know probably all these things. Having the correct approach with our teacher can actually, even though if the teacher is not that good, can actually help us to overcome this problem, if we can call it like this, so ourselves, very quickly. Because if we are really devoted and we really admire a teacher, this admiration, this devotion, this obedience, which in the traditional probably martial arts trainings can be expressed in that way, that discipline, that obedience towards the teacher can allow us to bend our bad tendencies, personal tendencies. We all have all the things coming up that want to argue whether something is wrong, is right, whether the teacher is doing the right thing, the wrong thing. So by what would be the right word in English? By subsiding, I think, by putting ourselves down, just for sake of convenience, let's put it in this way, towards the teacher, we actually realize that it's not important whether it's right or wrong. Our devotion, our obedience, our discipline help us to overcome ourselves. So although maybe the teacher is even wrong and we are able to follow an instruction which at the beginning might seem wrong, it can help us to develop, which is counterintuitive, no? Because we think we have to do only the right thing, only we have to kind of be doubtful about the teacher. Well, this is, I think, the first stage. At the beginning, when we try to choose somebody to work with, which is something actually quite uncommon nowadays, because we are in the solitude, aloneness era, where we take a book and we read about spirituality, or we Google it, or ChatGPT now, or YouTube, and we try to do everything for ourselves. But in the spiritual process, in the Qigong process, whatever you want to call it, it is important to have somebody that can share the direct experience with us, and also that can help us to destroy all our imaginations and preconceived ideas that we have about a teacher or perfection or evolution or spirituality. Because even our idea about our teacher, let's say, there's no way that we can find the perfect teacher, for one simple reason. The teacher is a human being. He has a body, there is movement still in the mind, because we have a body-mind yet, although we might have touched and realized certain things, the body and the mind keeps on moving. So the possibility of screwing it up is around the corner. That's why it requires constant vigilance, and we can never say that we have arrived to the destination completely. Maybe when we die, we're going to have the possibility of identifying ourselves with something beyond these two elements. So the teacher is an expression of life, And when we approach the teacher, maybe we approach it according to our ideas of the perfect spiritual teacher. So it doesn't smoke, it doesn't make jokes, it's serious, he stands there dressed in a particular way, which is something already that likely are getting are getting lost, this thing. Because on one end, because things are getting very much screwed, so everybody who talks about spirituality or some kind of inner process without having really idea what they're talking about, and they have an Instagram profile, they can catch the attention of many people, so of course they behave in the way they are, and people, they follow it because they look good, they say the usual things, and they cut their attention. But on the other end, teacher is a human being, which means that he has particular characteristics, which we might agree with or not. But again, what does it mean, perfect teacher? Perfect is a concept of the mind, because perfect it means that satisfy certain criteria, right? That we have decided they are the right criteria, and this is perfection for us. Although this is just a concept, because in the actual life experience, nothing like that is going to happen 100%. And we apply those criteria to a person. So we apply our idea of a spiritual teacher to a potential teacher. Maybe it's a very, very valuable person, but it's just sitting humbly, it's not showing any kind of nice clothes, it's not trying to present amazing ideas, it's just there quiet, but he knows something that you want to learn. And because you apply those criteria of the spiritual teacher to that person, you say, no, that person is not good for me. Or maybe, even worse, we approach a teacher, and it happened to me sometimes. People writing to me without knowing me, well, only the YouTube videos, the blogs, whatever I have on the internet, they write to me with a great sense of reverence, like, I don't want to say I'm like a godlike person on earth, but extremely like, with all these words that they go around, you don't really understand what they want to say sometimes. And then all of a sudden, because you just reply in a very simple way, maybe you not agree with them on a certain topic, they turn that sweetness and devotion into evil, not evil, but very nasty reactions. So, what I'm trying to say here, for sure we need somebody to learn from. And if you've been following my content, or you are on my email list and my YouTube channel, whatever it is, you know how much I stretch, or you are one of my students, and my students can comment on this, you know how much I stretch over the importance of not following any guru, not having any kind of structure, not embracing any kind of system of beliefs, because they are a limited expression that can take one form or another form. You are the most important thing. So I said this many times, but at the same time, especially in our age, the lack of discipline, the lack of respect, honoring the teacher, and seeing the teacher as somebody who has a particular knowledge that we really admire, is making the progress, even of some of my students actually, very slow. And certain processes, such as the Lin Chi, for instance, that requires really purity of the mind and a certain openness, is never, I don't want to say never going to take place, but it's going to take a long time. So, just to clarify again, I think it's important to be doubtful, especially nowadays, about the person that we choose and we decide to work with. We have to understand that it is a human being, and actually the more the person has discovered a certain level of freedom, the more his personal quality or her personal quality will express naturally in life, which means that they might not even make sense for you. Because like a flower in nature, it has its own shape, its own way of talking. So the more free it becomes, And the more free he becomes from the personal structure he went through, religious stuff and trainings, the more he becomes free, the more he expresses his personality, which is an outer shell that we have here in the world. So let's not get too much attached to that. In my opinion, I'm just trying to give you a tip. Let's say if you choose to work with a teacher after you have made your inquiries, your investigations, you have challenged him with some questions, you have talked to him personally, probably via WhatsApp or in presence, whatever it is, and you say, okay, I'm going to start the path with him. At that time, if you really want to move on, and whether you want to move on in the energy practice or in the personal spiritual practice, which is no different, just put all the trust that you have in that person. But not because the person is perfect. The person might make some mistakes, okay? And at some point you might feel, okay, I've taken everything I needed from this teacher. I still honor the teacher. And then you can work on your own. Of course, the teacher is always going to know more than you because has been doing this for more years, but you still detach yourself. So after inquiring and validating whether it is the right person, if we put our 100% of trust and discipline, even when the person might make a mistake, and we actually, maybe we suffer it inside, and I experienced this firsthand several times. But we have trust. This trust is more important for us than for the teacher. The teacher doesn't care if he is a good teacher or she is a good teacher. It doesn't care because it doesn't want to recruit dependent people and students. But for you and for anybody who wants to progress quickly in the path, which means getting rid of yourself and achieving the right achievements that path can bring, is going to make a huge difference. So just to sum it up, there are no perfect teachers out there, because perfect teacher, it means according to our mind expectations. So perfect for you might not be perfect for somebody else. So intrinsically there's no such a thing as a perfect teacher. And also we have to understand that it is an external manifestation. It might even take out of the box forms sometimes, because the more the teacher himself or herself becomes free, the more all the personal qualities and talents and creativity and ability of expressing herself or himself will manifest into the world, into different things. It might not just be in one field, it might be in different fields. So for some people it may even be confusing sometimes, and for the intelligent people, they will just understand that life is a component of many different things. So why fitting ourselves only in one box? If you think also about yourself, how many ideas have you changed in your life? One time, 10 years ago, maybe you were smoking or whatever, and you said to yourself, I'm going to smoke all the rest of my life, I'm going to be a hipster, whatever it is, and then after 2 years you changed completely, you went into business, you got married, you became serious. So ideas and actions outside are temporary. The important thing is that we are following somebody who has achieved something, and that achievement is manifested in the way that he speaks, it acts, he cares about the people, and at the same time, without becoming dependent on the person, which is something that I always stretch upon in my content, you know this, and with my students, we can follow 100% that person, not for the sake of following me, I don't care. If you don't follow me, what I tell you to do as a student, you just give me some trouble, or maybe you don't give me any trouble at all. You're just doing whatever you want, and you're not going to have the same result. So having 100% of discipline and honoring the teacher, not staying there and arguing over things, this is right, this is wrong, because this is the problem. Maybe you see a young guy or whatever it is, and you say, oh, this is just a guy like me. And I'm not saying I'm any special at all, but maybe you're just stepping into certain things, a field, which could be Gong, or which could be non-duality, whatever it is, and maybe the other person has been doing this for a bit longer. So just be humble, and after you investigate your teacher carefully and you make the choice to work with him, put 100% of trust and discipline in what he says, because he's not talking for the bad. He can make mistakes, but this kind of discipline and devotion that we have, and honor and admiration that we have towards the teacher is going to speed up the process. For you, not for me. I don't care about that. So I hope this video was rich in insight for my students and also for anybody who's looking to find a teacher.